Hi everyone, Sat Shri Akal, welcome to my channel. So you guys know from the title of today's video, I'm going to talk about my breast surgery experience. So recently I underwent a breast surgery. So what were the reasons why I went through it and what was my experience and also what were the pros and cons. I'm going to talk about everything in detail in today's video. Before we dig deep into it, I'd like to talk about few points here. One, I am all healthy right now. Second, this video is also available in Hindi and Punjabi. So in case you have issues, in understanding English, so there are two different videos. I'll drop the link to both of them in the description box below, and you can check in any of the languages that you prefer. So it is also available in Hindi and Punjabi. So now let's talk about some vitals. So I am 30 plus. I am about 5'8" and I weigh 64-65 kgs, which means my BMI is perfectly fine. I'm a vegetarian who occasionally eats eggs but not really fond of them. I have an athletic body, and I do care a lot about my body, my diet, so I know what I'm putting in my body. Why I'm telling you all this is because sometimes we feel I'm all healthy, all okay, why should I even go to a doctor, why would these problems come to me? But in my case the problem actually came to me. So that's why all of you who might be obese, who might be suffering from high BP, high blood pressure, sugar, diabetes, I would genuinely request you to go to a gynecologist and get yourself checked. So we'll go some years back. So when I was to get married, we thought of getting our medical tests done, which I always preach people to do. So get your medical tests done. That's very, very important. You'll get to know about all those issues or maybe a little more about your body. So both me and my husband went through that medical examination. So there was an ultrasound done of my breast, and in those the radiologist found some fibroadenomas. Now fibroadenomas are these small lumps which are very common in ladies, and they are usually benign. They don't hurt, they are not painful, and they don't really do anything to your body, but they are present in the breast. So in my right breast I had this one fibroadenoma which was bigger than the other small little fibroadenomas. So that was all, it was all benign, all okay. But every time I was going through the ultrasound scan, it was getting larger, not in centimeters, maybe very little, 0.1% or maybe some millimeters. So every time I used to go to the gynecologist, they used to look at my other reports, the previous report, and they would say, yeah, that's all fine, it hasn't grown much. But if you look at the reports from the very beginning to the reports till now, it had actually grown much bigger, and I actually did not pay any attention to it. Now almost 2 years back, I felt this one lump in the same right breast only towards my armpit, and it was easily detectable when I was checking it with my fingers. I could easily feel that. It was that of a very small ball size. So I rushed to my gynecologist and she told me to get the ultrasound scan done once again. So the scan report came and it was again all normal. The same fibroadenoma which was large in size, it was the same fibroadenoma which I could now feel from the outside also. But other than that, everything was all fine, all okay. So yeah, that's all. I came back home and the normal life continued. But then came 2021. One day, on a very fine day, I saw this small stain on my bra. Now I actually ignored it for about 2 to 3 days, but when it continued with different bras and it was there every time I was I was wearing a bra, it was there. So I got a little suspicious and I again went to my gynecologist, and she told me that it was a nipple discharge. So now we were dealing with a lump also and a nipple discharge also. This was a clear discharge with a little blood in it. So then she suggested me to go for a mammogram instead of the ultrasound. So there was one ultrasound also plus one mammogram also. So I got the ultrasound and mammogram done the same day. I remember I had to fill this form which said, any breast cancer history in family and all those stuff, and I was actually shaking filling that form. And so I went through that, and about 2 to 3 days later my reports came. So the mammogram and ultrasound reports said nothing about the discharge. They said there could be something, but they actually mentioned the fibroadenoma which was there. They said it looked like fibroadenoma, but the vascularity has increased, which means the blood supply to that mass, to that lump, has increased, which made my gynecologist raise her eyebrows, and she suggested me to go a breast surgeon. And also in the same report, they wanted me to go for a biopsy now. So they wanted to take a little tissue out of that fibroadenoma and get it checked under a microscope in a lab. So I was actually quite scared at that point of time. So being that scared only, I went to the breast surgeon. So she suggested me that we should treat both of these things one by one. So the lump should be treated first and then the nipple discharge. So for the lump, because it was suggested by the mammogram radiologist that I should go for a biopsy, so I went for the biopsy. So the procedure of core needle biopsy, which was suggested for me, was fairly simple. I'll talk about all these procedures in the next video so that I can give you a fair information about what these procedures are and what to expect, what pain is there and all that stuff. So I'll make a proper video about all of these procedures. So I went for biopsy. They collected the tissue, sent to the lab. After about 4 days, I got the report and my doctor called me and I got to know that it was just a simple fibroadenoma which was growing. So that was all fine. Fibroadenomas grow. There is nothing to worry about it. So yes, that was a relief. Now the lump thing was sorted out and now we had other issue at hand, and that was the nipple discharge. Now this time the breast surgeon suggested me two different things. One, we should collect the cells on a slide and send it to a lab to get checked, and second, I should get a blood test done for prolactin. Now prolactin is a hormone which is produced by pituitary gland and it is responsible for breast growth, and also it is responsible for any kind of discharge also if there is some heavy amount of prolactin being produced. So I went for both the things. My doctor collected the discharge and she sent it to the lab, and also I got my blood test done. Now the very first blood test that I got for the prolactin, it came out to be very high, like very high, extremely high. So I don't know whether it was the sigh of relief that I had that day, because then I thought, okay, there is nothing, it's just prolactin and then I'm gonna treat it. But my doctor told me that sometimes it is because of overstimulation of breast that the prolactin comes high. So I had to repeat the test. So we went for a second blood test for prolactin and it came out to be normal. Now the prolactin was normal and we were waiting for the lab results to come for the nipple discharge. And when the results came, it said that there wasn't enough cells for them to check it properly. So yeah, that was a failure altogether. So no discharge collected. I mean, discharge was collected but did not have many cells for them to check properly. So now the prolactin was normal and the nipple discharge thing was not okay. So then I was suggested to go for MRI, the breast MRI. So already I had gone for ultrasounds, mammograms, biopsies, then this nipple discharge collection, blood test, and now it was the time for MRI and I went for it. Now MRI procedure is fairly simple, no pain at all, and it took me about 45 minutes to get it done, and I got the reports in about 4 to 5 days. Now my MRI was with contrast, which means it was with a dye which can make the image more clear. So when the results came, my radiologist told me that actually there was some kind of blockage near the nipple. That's why the discharge was coming. Now they don't know what kind of blockage it is. So that's why they had to go for another biopsy. So yeah, one biopsy already done. Now they wanted me to go for another biopsy, which was this time near to the nipple. I would say next to the nipple. And yeah, I mean, I had no choice. So obviously I went for that second biopsy also. So again, the tissue was collected, sent to the lab. I waited for almost, I remember, a week or so when I got a call from my doctor, and she said the tissue which they had collected came out to be intraductal papilloma. It is again a very small lump which is in the duct. It is near to the nipple most of the times, but it can also go in any part of the duct. In my case, it was near to the nipple. So now she gave me two options. One, they can suck the entire lump out with the help of some technology, and second, there was a surgical procedure. So which one I wanted to go for, it was left to me only. So the doctor told me the pros and cons of both. In the vacuum assisted biopsy, there were no scars as such, because it is going to be a very small procedure. They are just going to put the needle in, suck the lump out, and that's all. But in surgical procedure, obviously there will be a big cut and obviously a scar also. But the cons were very different. In the vacuum assisted biopsy, there were chances that, okay, maybe just 1%, even if the 1% of lump was still inside, it can lead to further complications. But in surgical procedure, there were no cons as such, because the doctor will manually take the entire lump out. So I was given both the options and I chose the latter one. I wanted to go for the surgical procedure. I was not at all afraid of the scars and I wanted to get the entire lump out of my body. So I went for the surgical procedure under the influence of general anesthesia. In both of my biopsies, there were local anesthesias, but here I had no clue where I was. So I think it took them about 40-45 minutes for the entire process, because in my case, I actually wanted them to remove both the lumps. So they were to remove the intraductal papilloma also and the fibroadenoma also. So they removed both in the same go. So I think in an hour or so they were all free, and I regained my consciousness in about 2 hours or so after that, and that was all. My procedure was done, and it took me about 14-15 days after that to heal completely. I would not say heal completely, but yeah, the scar was all gone. There were dissolvable stitches which were used, so I never went for, to get my stitches removed and all that stuff. So everything healed on its own, and after almost a month or so, I was able to do my usual work. When I say usual work, then it was like exercises and running and doing my other stuff also. So it took me about 15-20 days for this entire thing, for the healing process, and then after that I was all fine, all okay. So that was my breast surgery experience. If I talk about the pain, yes, the procedures were painful, not the ultrasound or mammogram or MRI, but the surgical ones. So the biopsies were also painful, and obviously the surgical procedure was painful. I had to take painkillers for about 7 to 8 days after that, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say my pain was about 4 to 5, and I can easily boast that I can bear pain much better than most of the people. So my doctor also told me that it can go up to 7 or 8, and I was really scared, but that day never came. And yeah, so it was painful, but I took all the precautions that they told me, and I was able to get through all this. Now, this is one very important section of this video. I told you about my experience, and I also told you that, I was actually kind of considering myself a healthy, fit person. So there were few things that I actually managed to learn from this experience. So one is, you should get yourself checked. Being a lady, being a woman, you have to get yourself checked after the age of 30 specifically. And if you are feeling some issue in your breast, so before 30 also, but after 30, please visit a gynecologist regularly. If you are seeing some kind of change in your breast, if you are feeling any kind of issue even with your reproductive system, go get yourself checked. Let's at least talk to the gynecologist or talk to any lady doctor which is available to you. Another very important thing is to remain fit and healthy. I can't tell you the benefits of this. I mean, I was just, exercising just to look good, I can say. All my clothes were fitting me well and I was looking all fine, no double chin and all that stuff. But eating good, keeping a healthy lifestyle has many more benefits than we actually think of. I remember going to both of my doctors, the gynecologist and breast surgeon, and they asked me a set of questions which were like, you have a family history, do you smoke, do you drink, or what is your BMI like, do you have high BP, you have sugar, and all that stuff. And I was saying no to all of these questions, and that was such relief for me and the doctor, because all the people or all the ladies who suffer from these kind of issues also, and then they also have some issue in the breast, that actually increases the chances of having some kind of malign element also. So that's very, very important to keep a track of what you eat, how you live your life. Next, I'd like to talk about the influence of social media, because every day some or the other influencer is telling us to look this good or that good, or to go for this particular trend, or maybe to go for this special implant or some other modification in the body, and we follow them blindly. That is not good for your health. I remember going for pre-anesthesia checkup before my surgery, and the doctor there asked me some really odd questions. For example, she asked me, do you have any implants? I said no. Okay. Do you have some veneers on your teeth? No. Any crown, any implant? Do you have natural teeth? Yes. And then she asked me about any injections that I take to plump my lips and all that. So I said no, nothing as such, I'm all natural. And she was quite relieved, because she said that most of the times the girls who come for all this, sometimes they have implants in their breasts and they don't really consider going to a gynecologist or maybe a breast surgeon before going for these kind of procedures. So they just go to the cosmetic surgeon, they tell them, okay, we want this, they get that done, but that impacts their health later on, or maybe they have higher chances to develop any of the, I'd say, bad cells in their body. So that's very important that we keep ourselves as natural as possible. Last but not the least, let me talk about positivity here. This may sound cliche, but you actually need a lot of positive energy around you. I remember those sleepless nights when I remember one day at 3 in the morning I was googling stuff, and I checked almost everything which came to my mind. And moreover, the test is as simple, either it's a yes or a no. In my case, it was all good. What if it was the other way around? So yes, the positive energy is needed at every point during these kind of situations. So in my case, I prayed a lot actually, and that helped me. I can definitely say that put a lot of positive energy in me. At the same time, I read some really wonderful books, so I like to mention few of them here. And these were the books that kind of gave the steering wheel back into my hands. So that's why I can definitely vouch for the positivity which should be there if you are going through any of these conditions, and you should tell yourself again and again that you are all perfect, you are all healthy, and this stressful time will pass. So yeah, that's all for today. If you have any kind of concerns or you have some questions related to today's video, you can either drop a comment here or you can comment me on my social media. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So that's all for today. I'll see you soon in my next video. Till then, stay healthy, stay happy, stay blessed. Bye bye.